Good morning. Today, I'll be treating the topic Arise and Take Over. Arise and Take Over. And this will be one of many in the series Taking Nigeria into the Promised Land. Taking Nigeria into the Promised Land. You know, when we're talking about the Promised Land, oftentimes we're thinking in terms of us as individuals getting into the Promised Land. There's nothing wrong with that. It's actually, yes, each of us must enter our Promised Land because that is where we work effortlessly. That is where we walk with the blessings of God. That's where God has intended for us, has destined us to be, and we are equipped to be, such that we're able to do things effortlessly because it is where God has planned for us. Yes, but as a nation, just as God took Israel, into the land of promise, same way God wants to take Nigeria into the land of promise. God said of Israel, Israel is my firstborn. And when you hear firstborn, that is to say, there are many other sons. Nigeria is God's son. And God wants us to take Nigeria into its promised land. God wants to take Ghana into its promised land. So when we're reading the Bible, we should stop reading it just with the mind of an individual. Like all that God is talking about, all that God said about Israel, in actual fact, it's God talking to me as an individual. No, it's more than that. It's God talking to you about what to do to take your nation into the promised land. So let's look at the book of Joshua. We will be looking at the book of Joshua a lot because that is the final stage, where God was going to take the children of Israel into the promised land. Now, he now said, now Moses, we're going to take just a little part of it. It says, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise. I'm reading Joshua 1, verse 2, just a little part of it. Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise. Now where we are in the nation right now, I believe this is exactly where we are. Moses, my servant, is dead. There are many things that was Moses to us as individuals, as a nation. There are many things at some point that were Moses to us. For instance, there used to be a time when I thought what will save this country is just to have one man who was the Messiah in the villa. That Moses is dead now. Now my servant Moses is dead. Yeah, it was God at some point that used it to give us hope, because without hope, what will an individual do? A nation will perish. There must be some hope for us to go on. So at some point, yes, thinking that when God will just raise one individual who was the Messiah, that was what Nigeria was looking for. That was what I was looking for. And that would be all. Now, my servant Moses is dead. That Moses is dead. Again, of course, at a point, we're now looking not just for a Messiah. We thought that the Messiah had to come in form of a man of integrity. Simple. That if only a man of integrity could enter the villa, that would be the end of our problems. Because corruption is what has been, the bane of the society. Alas, we had one that it was not interested in stealing our money and everything. Yet, it didn't solve the problem of the nation. That Moses is dead. That idea that a man alone will can take a nation into it is dead. Then it says, building a nation, I used to think it was a walk in the park. As in, what's the matter with everybody? Why is it that our leaders seem not to understand what to do? Why? They don't know that it is this policy that will do it. If only they could use this policy. If only they could do like this, do like that, do like that. I used to think that, you just needed to swing the right wand, or what do you call it? Just do it, and then we'll get a solution. Now that Moses is dead. That Moses is dead. Because I know that I've been into this thing, governance and politics in Nigeria, for quite a while now. I know there is no magic wand that is going to solve this. That Moses is dead. So because this Moses and other Moseses that we know, because they are dead, we must rise. Now it says, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise. So he's saying to us in Nigeria, now that idea that you had about the way being this or that idea is dead. Now you know better that it's not the way to do it. Now arise. Arise. He's saying to you that it's not Moses that is going to take you there. You've got to be the Joshua. The Joshua to take your own community into the promised land that God has for them. The Joshua to take your street into that which God has planned for them. To take people in your office, where you work or somewhere. There are people who are waiting on you to be the Joshua to take them into the promised land. Know for certain that now, to you, Moses is dead. You thought Moses was the one that was going to directly take the people there. But God is saying to you that Moses is not taking them in there. You. That he has shown all the things he has shown up till now. You. That he has walked on for so long, and you have been amidst the people. You have been observing what Moses was doing. You have been observing what it is that God, can do through a mighty man and all that. Yes. And you were expecting that this mighty idea, this thing that you thought, this thing, this solution that you had all along, but did not include you being the one to do it. We're thinking that was going to be the solution. And God is saying to you this morning, now that Moses is dead. Now, my servant Moses is dead. So arise. You need to arise to do that which is before you. You are called to take a people into the promised land. Nigeria has to enter into the promised land. I am called to take a certain people into the promised land. So it is the joint effort of you and I that is going to do it. The Lord is saying to you this morning, arise. Know that Moses is dead. Arise. Arise and take these people to cross the Jordan. So Moses, my servant, is dead. Now arise. When you arise, what do you do? Let's quickly look at that. When you arise, what do you need to do? First, you throw off all your limiting beliefs. Those things that make you think it's not you, it has to be another person because you can't do it. You just can't do it. Me, man tell Moses, me, I'm just observing, me that I am. All those limiting beliefs, it is time to arise. That means you throw them off. Also, you disentangle yourself from entanglement. There are certain things that entangle you. There are certain things that hold you bound. There are certain things, that make you, here I am, I am the one doing school runs. And, take it from me, it's a good thing to take children to school and all that. But look, if you love these things sometimes more than you love these things above that which God has called you to do or that which God is calling you to do, even though there's no risk of anything happening to your children, if you are not the one personally doing it, then you may miss out on what God is calling you to do. God is saying there are certain entanglements that he himself knows that they are not entanglements he gave you. These are not entanglements that should hold you down from doing that which God has called you to do at this time. So God is saying you must disentangle yourself from certain entanglements. That is the way to arise. Again, of course, you must take yourself away from certain activities. Then that may hold you down. You must be responsible. Take away some responsibilities that any other person can do. Just like Jesus said, let the dead take care of the dead. There are certain things that you are putting on your head and doing so much about that you who he has raised and he has taught so much, he has spent so many years on. This is not the time for you to be engaged in such things. So you must, disentangle yourself from, such things, and then you must wake up your ideas. That is the way to arise. To arise, you must wake up your ideas. I said you must disentangle yourself. I said you must throw off your limiting beliefs. I said, you must, take off responsibilities that are not yours, but you have carried on yourself. After doing all that, wake up your ideas. Remember, now my servant Moses is dead. Arise. Now my servant Moses is dead. Arise.